The biggest obstacles are being overwhelmed. Transition is a huge process. It's a big process. It's a big umbrella if you want to look at it that way.
I think the biggest obstacles for students and families when dealing with transition is actually knowing where to start and what their role is in the process.
There isn't just one resource. I have many depending on where that child is.
Well, a lot of the special needs families are tapped out financially, physically, emotionally. So these resources are really beneficial to know what is in the state and to even know what's lacking in the state, so we can help as advocates what things that we can probably push other parents to consider or to establish within themselves.
You have children who may just have learning disabilities that need minimal help or assistance. Then you have children with severe cognitive delays who need much more help and assistance. And the process for those two parents are vastly different.
Taking control of your IEP process is really about the student, and that's what the individual education plan is all about, especially when you're dealing with the transitioning.
The In-Source Transition Guide for Families is a useful resource for families to help them understand that in Indiana, when a student turns 14, we start discussing independence and successful living when they leave the high school. It helps the parents understand what should be happening when the IEP becomes a transition IEP, what is the focus of the time that they are in school, what do we look at in developing the IEP.
I think it's really important for students to be a part of that IEP process from as early as possible, but definitely starting at age 14. The reason I think it's important is because it's their outcome, and ways that they can become involved would be at the case conference, learning to share what their strengths are, learning to share what their limitations are, sharing with staff and family that how they learn best, things that they can use in the educational process, that it's not just all about what everybody else is doing, but actually about what their needs are specific to meet their goals. At age 18, the student actually takes their educational rights unless there's a guardianship in place. So it's really important for that student to be involved in that process from the beginning of it to the end of it, because we get a better outcome, and ultimately it's what the student wants to achieve in that transition process. So In-Source is a nonprofit organization that was founded back in 1975. What we do is we help bridge the gap between home and school. Some resources that are available and that I have found incredibly useful is, in our area we have what's called a transition fair, where vendors from all over the state come in. So it's a great time to pull together those resources for families to be able to access that information in one source in one easy location.
So my go-to transition resources that I generally will give is In-Source does have a transition publication handbook that we use. And it's a good overall resource.
Resources really depend on your local area, so I would encourage you to contact your local regional In-Source specialist to really dive into resources within your own area, because it varies drastically across the state.
The biggest resource for a parent with special needs, though, is other special needs parents. As a parent and as a professional, I want to help those people overcome those barriers and those fears and just think about there is a future